But I moved everything to all online, and I was doing all Zoom interviews for a while, like through the beginning couple months of COVID. And that worked really, really well because I got to work with people that I wouldn't have otherwise met and I wouldn't have otherwise gotten to chat with and interview and hear their stories.
On today's episode of Rise, Grind, Repeat, we talk to Lexy Romano from Phx Finds. Talk about how she created a show highlighting Phoenix businesses because she wanted to learn more about the Valley. Let's dive right in. Lexy, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Rise, Grind, Repeat. I'm excited because you're out there helping businesses create a lot of content, and I know there's a lot more to it than just that. Before we kind of get into that, would love to. Who are you? What's your background? What do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. I've never talked into a green mic before, so this is very exciting for me. I'm so pumped. So I was telling you a little while ago, I'm originally from California, born and raised Cali girl. And then I moved to New York City, lived there for many years. I'm also a singer and a performer. So that's what I was doing there, and got to travel all over. I was very, very blessed to get to do what I love. And then I came out here to Arizona about 3 years ago. And when I first moved here, I'll be honest, I was a little bit like, Phoenix isn't New York City. But as I kind of got to know the city a little bit more and started finding things, I was like, well, actually, wait a minute. Phoenix is kind of cool. Do other people know that Phoenix is so cool? And I had always wanted to do on-camera stuff. And my husband actually came up with the idea for Phx Finds. So we started producing episodes, started getting it out there for people. And we're lucky that people want to watch and people want to come on the show. So yeah, we're still here.
What is the whole premise of Phx Finds?
So the premise of Phx Finds is kind of what I just said, that I am the host and I go out and find these awesome businesses, business owners, locations, events, whatever it may be. And I kind of talk to the owners, I experience it, and I take the viewer along with me so they get to kind of see something or experience something as I'm experiencing it for the first time.
No, I love it. And how hard was it to, I guess, get it going? Because I mean, it's brand new space, brand new city, everything's brand new. I mean, it's tough to try and foster relationships, get conversations going. So, I mean, what was it like to just go from idea to, all right, here's the groundwork that we're going to do to actually get this up and going?
Absolutely. Well, you hit the nail on the head there. It was difficult at first to convince, these successful business owners to let me come into their space and to talk with me and to trust me with telling their story. So it did take a little bit of kind of fostering relationships, and I don't want to say twisting arms, but I twisted a couple arms like, please let me come in and video with you. But no, slowly as I've been in the space a little bit more and I've gotten to know people, I've just made those connections, and people have wanted to trust me with telling their story. So it was difficult at first, and it was kind of hard to step out of my comfort zone and start to get to know people and really put myself out there. But it's been slow, but it's paid off, I think. So, yeah.
And I mean, from my perspective, I think I found your page through Melissa Naya.
I love Melissa. She's so awesome. Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
And from there, I mean, you've blown up in terms of followers. I'm seeing my friends share some of your content more and more.
Oh,
so, I mean,
nice.
As you say, it's slow. It on my perspective, it seems to be blowing up. I mean, how has that process been in terms of, trying to figure it out, picking up some steam? Has it been difficult to get to where you are now?
I think nothing that's good comes easily. And so definitely not being a native Phoenician, I do think people out here were like, you got to prove yourself. And it's definitely taken a little bit of time to be out there, be really genuine. I'm trying to be really genuine at least, and show people that, hey, I really like it here and I really just want to show you cool places. It has taken a little bit of time, I think, to kind of get to that point, get that trust, earn that trust from people. But yeah, just the day in, the day out, the grind of doing the same thing over and over again and putting yourself out there. And it does garner some interest after time. But yeah, you just got to be patient with it for sure.
Patience is key.
Oh man. Yeah. So hard, but it is key. You're right. Yeah.
And when it comes to, just helping create content, whether you're selling the video to the business owner or getting sponsors to run it, I guess, what does that business model look like? Because getting a crew, getting cameras, all that. It's intensive in terms of capital and even getting a team together, whatever it may be. What does the whole business model look like?
Well, you basically said it. I mean, we have a couple of sponsors. I'll shout out Dr. Matthew Harmon with the Village Dental Center. He's awesome. One of our main sponsors who's been with us for a while. He's great. And then, yeah, it is kind of a pay-to-play platform where the businesses who come on, because our videos are so highly produced, they're really all about whatever it is that the business wants to highlight. And we go in and we make a beautiful video for you. It's content that you can use for a long time. It's not a one-off, kind of like a quick news feed kind of a thing. It's something that you can have for a long time. You can use on your website. You can use on your social media for a long time. So yeah, it's kind of both and.
Yeah, no, I love it. And that's, I think, the biggest thing. I mean, obviously we help video from a marketing perspective, and it's always, well, it seems expensive and all that, but it's really, if you create something that's lifeless, it's how much revenue can be generated after 5-10 years. I mean, you sell a video 3, 5, 10, whatever that is. It's like you could generate $300,000-$400,000 in revenue. And
seriously, yeah.
It's very ROI beneficial. And that being said, as you've been working with more and more businesses, have you gotten feedback with, I didn't even realize how this was going to open up the door and bring people in. And I mean, what has been the feedback on some of these businesses that have moved forward with getting your videos?
Yeah, well, just to say something else about what you said, like, yeah, the ROI, I almost can't even put a number on it because the ROI it could be limitless, like however long you want to use this video for, it, like the timelessness of it. And that's really kind of not something, it's kind of nebulous in that you could make so much off of this or just get so many views. But I do think the number one thing that I've heard from the businesses that I work with is they in turn get hooked up with the other businesses that I've worked with. Yes, there's a huge market out there for people who want to find these places and they're new to Phoenix and they come to my page or they watch the videos and they say, oh, wow, this is so cool. I didn't know we had this here. But a lot of times what's great and something I really love doing is hooking up business owners with other business owners. And that's been something that's been really cool, that I've gotten to meet a lot of cool business owners. And if they're looking for something, I can say, oh, hey, I know somebody. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And one thing that we kind of feel sometimes is get a business owner that comes in. It's tough to be on camera. I mean,
yeah.
How do you experience that? And I guess how do you help others? And I know you've recently launched something that kind of coaches people on how to be better on camera, but we'd love to kind of hear from your perspective. How do you kind of coach them? And I mean, what struggles have you seen and what's worked for business owners to get them comfortable? For sure.
That is a real thing. I think everybody gets a little nervous. I mean, you and I literally just talked about like, which camera do I look at? Like, it's a real thing for anyone and everyone. If you have been on camera for years, if it's your first time on camera, it's a real thing. So I totally get it. And built into coming on a Phx Finds episode, we naturally will do what you and I just did and kind of talk about what we're going to do. Look at this camera. Don't look at this camera. Or, just try to be comfortable, try to be natural, which is so hard when you tell someone, just be comfortable. What does that mean? Like, it's kind of not a real coaching thing, but yes, you did just say that I've started something new recently, which is on-camera coaching. So if you're going to come on Phx Finds and do an episode and you want to meet beforehand, we'll do an hour coaching before the episode. Or if you're going to just go on if you're going to come here and do an Every Impression Counts podcast, or if you're going to go on a TV show or whatever it is, I'll come out and work with you. I'll bring my crew. We'll get you in front of a camera. We'll get you feeling more comfortable. So yep, we have that option now as well.
That's awesome. And it's funny because we always joke about it. When Andrei and I first connected, took us probably 7-8 hours to even just get in front of a camera and say my name and the name of the business. And
yes.
It's crazy to see the evolution. And to me, it was, there wasn't one tip or anything that did better. It was just putting in the reps, doing it a bit more. That being said, do you see that there are actual tips or piece of advice that you have that maybe someone can take now, or is it just getting in the reps or a little bit of both?
Kind of both. I do think you do have to get in front of a camera. You have to spend the time in front of the camera because there's nothing you can do to just force comfort like that. People always say, well, just be natural. What does that mean? Just be comfortable, act comfortable. That's not really something that's an actionable tip. But there are a few things that I always tell people. I don't want to give too much away.
I was gonna say, can't give away the secret sauce.
I don't want to give too many.
Tease it, that whenever they hear it, they'll reach out.
There's a couple little things that I always think of, which, they sound so silly and stupid, but they really work. First one is smile. If you come on camera, even if you are really nervous, if you force yourself to smile, you'll look more comfortable and you'll slowly start to feel more comfortable. So just starting out with that smile. Another thing is keeping your hands open. instead of sometimes when people get really nervous, they'll do weird things where they keep their hands, they'll clench their fists or they'll touch their hair. And if you just kind of keep your hands open and down, obviously right now we're in front of a table, so it's not as applicable. But when you're standing, or even if you are sitting, keeping your hands open and kind of in front of you. And then something I love to do, which, if I've had too much Botox, I can't do it, but moving your eyebrows when you're talking about stuff conveys that you truly mean something. So it's a natural thing that we perceive that we don't even know. When someone moves their eyebrows, you think, oh, I trust them.
Interesting.
It's like a body language thing that I don't know why that is, why humans do that. But when someone moves their eyebrows when they're telling you a story or they're talking about something, it conveys, oh, they're telling me the truth. I trust them. Yeah. So those are a couple little tips. I won't give away everything, but.
Exactly. And I feel like it helps bring attention. I mean, even as you were doing that, once you start moving the eyebrows, is like kind of focusing more. And it's those little things. I mean, it's a little bit of getting in the reps. There's those things. But I mean, even outside of making you feel comfortable, it's the psychological perspective. Going back on the ROI thing, it's like moving your eyebrows or your hand positions could literally make the difference in $20,000 in sales or 300. I mean, Seriously. There's so much that goes into it, and it's awesome what you're offering, because video is only getting so much more important and more people are doing it. But I think so many people are. Yeah.
Cool.
And with it, I mean, starting anything, it's always hard to really get the word out there. I mean, I always love hearing kind of how people started from, just an idea to really growing it. How are you guys marketing yourselves?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would say I'm just trying to get out there as much as possible. I reach out to so many people. I think I reached out to you like a long time ago, like a minute ago. I think I was like, hi, really? I think we do kind of the same thing. Yeah, I think if you scroll back through some old DMs, I think I reached out to you a while back. But yeah, just really putting myself out there on social media, doing podcasts, just connecting with people, kind of the old school route.
What's the biggest way that got a lot more people just saying yes and connecting? Is it the DM route? Were you sending emails, or I guess what are some of the tactics that have worked?
Oh man, I'm so old school. I am all about social, and I love like DMing people. But if I can get somebody on the phone, or if we can meet in person, oh man, like that. I know some people still aren't comfortable to do in persons, and I get that. But yeah, if I can get in the room with somebody, or if I can get somebody on the phone, that's my go-to every time. I feel like for a company like this where I'm about telling your story, I need to meet you and know you before we can do that. So getting in the room with somebody, talking to someone on the phone, so much more personal than just shooting someone a DM, you know, which I still do that as well. But yeah.
The DM leads to the in-person conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
And with all that being said, I mean, you brought up a good point. COVID, some people don't feel comfortable. Your entire business is being on camera, being around people. I mean, how has COVID impacted just the overall business?
Well, it was huge when everything first started. I guess it was about a year ago now. I know it's nuts. How has this been a year? It's nuts. But I moved everything to all online, and I was doing all Zoom interviews for a while, like through the beginning couple months of COVID. And that worked really, really well, because I got to work with people that I wouldn't have otherwise met, and I wouldn't have otherwise gotten to chat with and interview and hear their stories. So while that was really, really cool, and we still have that option if someone's not comfortable having me come out in person. What we're doing now is we're doing a lot of things where we'll either meet outside, or if a business owner isn't comfortable having me in their space, we'll chat outside, and then my videographer will go in with a mask and film everything. Whatever it is, however we can accommodate to make people comfortable, we want to do that. We want to still be able to tell stories while making people feel really comfortable.
That's cool. I think that's the one, I guess, appreciation that I have from the whole COVID thing is it's forced people to really think of new business models, have to get creative in how you do things. And I think for a while, things were just, everyone got complacent. I think things were just going too good. And I mean, it's unfortunate, obviously, that, COVID happened, but I love the innovation that's come out. I mean, it's insane. It really is.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely made people, I feel, a lot more creative. We've seen so many people come up with things that otherwise would never have happened. We wouldn't have been forced into kind of doing things differently. And while I will say I'm excited that things are moving in such a positive direction, and that hopefully COVID will someday not be a thing anymore, and we'll be able to be back in person with no masks and all that good stuff. But I do feel thankful for the way that it made me change up the way I was doing things and think differently about things. So that's always good when something forces innovation.
Exactly. And that being said, I mean, you've been growing quickly. Like I said, I see you blowing up. But no matter how quickly people grow, there's usually some type of hurdle, some type of just negative thing that can happen that makes you really, should I keep doing this? Is this the right thing for me? Has that happened to you? And I guess if so, how'd you overcome it?
Yeah, I would say it's happened a couple times here. I mean, there's also just the day in, day out of being a business owner. That's hard. I mean, shout out to anyone who does their own thing, entrepreneurs of any kind. It can be really tough, but I definitely had some struggles in the beginning. Starting out with finding people to work with, that was really, really tough, and finding someone that I trusted, especially when it comes to like the videography side. I didn't know anything when I first started about that. And so that took me a little while, and have worked with a couple people. And now I am working with someone who's really, really awesome. And I think that also comes down to putting yourself out there and just trusting that the people who stick around and who have the same vision as you and have the same like mission in their lives, those are going to be the people who you align with and you'll end up working with.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, love it. And before we kind of get into how you kind of balance time, work, life, and all that, you bring up a good point. Just the not fully understanding and having to figure that out. You have a great idea. I mean, I was in the same boat, never touched a camera in my life. Yeah. And it was just like, well, running ads, all my life, I know that creative is the variable to success and you need video, And so it was a long, like, I thought videos, 2 hours and you're done. And it's just like, it was a huge eye opener.
Absolutely.
What were some of those eye opening, I guess, moments or things that just kind of made you take a step back and appreciate the work or art of video?
Oh man. Well, definitely the time that it takes. Our videos are short. They're only a couple minutes long. They're between 3 and 7 minutes. You'd think, okay, it'll take 3 to 7 minutes to make this. No, it takes hours. Oh my gosh, the amount of time that we book to be in the space to get the video, and then on the back end, the editing, all that time. Like, wow, it's an incredible amount of work. Like the time, the effort, the talent that you have to be a phenomenal videographer, editor, all of that stuff. That is such an art form. I have huge respect for people who do that. And I do a little bit of videography now, but man, like the tiny little bit that I do now, it still takes so long. And yeah, you really have to be an artist to do that stuff and do it well. But yeah, beyond that, it's just the whole creative content mindset, coming up with new things. I also think that through COVID, I've seen people be so incredibly innovative and thoughtful and creative, and the things that people are coming up with on TikTok, the things people are doing on Instagram. I just have to shout out to all the cool creatives in town, especially. We have some amazing people who are doing really, really great work. So keep it up, guys.
Yeah. You brought something I want to get into the channels here in a second, but going kind of back to balancing work, life. And you mentioned, might be looking for a home, you have a husband and all that. I mean, how hard has it been trying to balance everything? Because it's like, once you start picking up momentum, it's tough to like, all right, well, I'm just going to take an hour from personal. I'm going to take an hour from here and keep putting it into the business, because it's the more time you put in there, the quicker it's going to grow. And it almost gets to where, I mean, for me, it's like, it gets not addicting, but it makes me want to keep doing more and pouring more into it. Yeah. And then it's like I mentioned, I have a 3-month-old now. I got a wife and all that.
Congratulations.
It's thank you. And it's tough to balance it all. How do you balance everything? It
is tough. I totally hear what you're saying. And I find that struggle to be the same for me as well. I find that if I wake up in the morning and I'll tell myself a certain amount of time, maybe it's different every day, but if I say I'm going to put in 2 hours right away, I will get so much more work done in those 2 hours, because I've allotted it for whatever it is. If it's editing, if it's, making phone calls, doing emails, whatever it is, I'm going to put in these 2 hours and nothing is going to distract me. And then I feel like, okay, I got done everything that I needed to do. Now I don't need to stress out about it. So it's kind of a first thing in the morning for me. Like, I have to get that work done. And then I kind of feel like my day can run a little bit smoother. So it's really about prioritizing whatever it is on that day. And I do like having checklists and checking things off my list. That definitely is like a big, okay, that feels great. Yes, it's done. So it's kind of that mindset of like starting off the day.
So it sounds like you've just done a bit more kind of, instead of jumping into the day and just kind of doing what comes at you, it's taking a step back and planning a bit more, kind of prioritizing, owning your own time rather than it owning you. And that's something I still struggle with is trying to plan out. But is that kind of the transition to where alleviated some of that stress. You kind of own the day a bit more than it owning you.
Absolutely. And, I think for entrepreneurs or people who like work from home, I've never really worked from home before. I've never done anything like this before. So yeah, planning it, making sure I am in control of what I'm doing and not letting myself get distracted or turning on the TV and then, my whole day's ruined. But it definitely is about that planning and about taking control of that time for myself. And I struggle with it. It's not easy. And I definitely find days that I just sat on the couch all day and watched Gilmore Girls. And then I have to be okay with that and let that be what it is. Try to do better the next day,
Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. I mean, the energy, the mindset, seem very positive, very energetic and everything like that. I guess, does that play a role into how you've kind of grown the business? Because something that I see is people that are more positive and energetic, it's get more things done rather than come up with excuses. And that's typically where, you see a lot of entrepreneurs grow really quick. How big of, I guess, focusing on the mental side of things, the physical and everything like that, is that a priority at all?
Yeah, it's a huge priority. And I'm so glad you brought that up. That's a huge, huge thing that in the last maybe couple of years, I've gotten more into visualization and really setting goals for myself and picturing myself meeting those goals. And when you can do that, you're really setting your brain up to be prepared for when you hit those goals. And you're already naturally creating pathways in your mind for how am I going to see opportunities now instead of downfalls? How am I going to see, myself doing this thing I want to do rather than not doing it? You're already training your brain to do things in a more productive way. So that's been something I've kind of tried to apply in whatever way I can. And it helps me for sure. Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm big on that as well. I grew up playing baseball and had a coach that was always just visualize it. If you can see yourself doing it, I think you just hit the nail on the head. It's not a surprise when you do it. You're almost expecting it. Mm-hmm. And so it conditions your mind to, if I'm going to expect it, I know that I need to do X, Y, Z in order to get there. And it creates that pathway. And I think that's the biggest thing. Seeing more and more, get the video blueprint, the Google Ads blueprint. I think having a blueprint is what everyone wants. And that's all that does is if you can outline them, see yourself getting there, it creates that blueprint that's just easier to follow.
Absolutely.
And that roadmap. What was the, I guess, turning point or event that happened a couple of years ago that made you kind of realize I need to focus on, goals, visualization, the mental side of things a little bit more?
Well, as a performer, that's something that I have never really done. Because, I grew up singing and I performed for many years and I had never really done that. I always just kind of thought, well, if I put in the work, then I'll be okay. But when I started combining, I read a book actually. I don't know if she's maybe not popular anymore, but Rachel Hollis I still like her. I still listen to her. I still think she's great. And she's big on visualization. So when I read that and I started putting that into my life as a performer, I started seeing such positive results with, hey, this isn't up to necessarily fate. I get to put myself in a mindset and I get to choose how I approach this work. And you still have to put the work in. Yeah. You can't just visualize something and then it happens.
That's dreaming.
Right, exactly. You're totally right. Yes. You still have to put the work in. But once you have that clear picture in your mind, when you put the work in, you're so set up for the opportunity to come that you don't put any blocks for yourself in insecurities or negative thoughts, whatever it may be. You're ready and you go for it and you seize opportunities and you take chances. And that's how people get places, I think.
Yeah.
So
no, I couldn't agree more. It's amazing. Just, I love psychology and just the mental side of things. It's to your point, there is a little bit of faith and hope, but there's also a little bit of, you got to put in the work. And I think combining the two is just where people start to excel, which by the way, I like Rachel Hollis, started listening to her with my wife and I think it's the podcast with her and her husband, which I don't think they're married anymore.
Yeah, I know. I think they got divorced, which is why I think she's like maybe not as cool as she used to be, but whatever. I still like her. I still find her stuff really helpful.
Yeah. Cool. Kind of getting back to business and stuff like that. You're big on Instagram. At least that's where I see vast majority of your content. Are there other channels that you're on or testing out currently?
Yeah. I do Facebook as well. And I'm trying to do TikTok.
How's that going? It's tough, isn't it?
It is weird. Like, It's cool, but yeah, I haven't really figured out how to do it and do it really well. So I'm trying to throw some stuff out there, but I'm just not as, I don't know. I'm not as into it, I guess, but
I'll get spurts and then I'll start try and do the editing and all that. I'll get like 8 minutes and I'm like, nah, I need to rely on the team for this.
Oh man. Yeah. Right. Serious. Yeah. It's going to be a whole new, like, you're going to be a TikTok manager. Like instead of a social media manager, it'll be like you have a whole separate person just to do TikTok. But yeah, no, so I do all those other things too. So you can find me there on all the platforms. And then
what's your favorite channel? Instagram?
I just like Instagram. I just feel like you get to really connect with people. I don't know. And maybe that's just because I'm old, but I like Instagram and I feel like I've made a lot of great connections through Instagram for sure. Yeah.
No, love it. We're trying to test, TikTok a bit more, just getting more aggressive on the different channels. Yeah. What are we testing and looking at the results? But
what do you post on TikTok? What's your go-to video that you do?
We've had one video. So
what was your one video?
So what we've done is we're trying to come up with a different theme each month and this month it's like a tip from the department. And so we had the video department coming out with the tip, paid, automation, and all that. And so each month it's gonna be different, where maybe next month it'll be a case study. So the first one was tips on how to create video that creates more engagement and stuff like that.
Nice.
And Andrei, of course, we shouldn't have let the video department lead because now it's set the bar really high on what everything's going to look like. But it was, just giving some tips and stuff like that. And
nice.
It's amazing how much organic reach you have on it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's actually like, I think it's kind of similar with Instagram that the reels, the reach is like far beyond anything else, like story posts or anything like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And are you getting more aggressive on reels? Because that's something we're noticing as well. It's like, I mean, you do a traditional post, cool, whatever views, but it's like, as soon as you post on reels, it's like 5, 6, 7x the amount of views.
It is. Yeah, no, reels is great. I got really big into it when it first came out. I've kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit, but yeah, reels is awesome. I think, again, another really great opportunity for people to be really creative. And I love the trends that go on, all the hashtags that people are trending doing things. When people, steal other sound bites and do that kind of stuff. It's cool. It's really fun. I think when you keep it positive, I like it. I like doing that stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
Cool. You mentioned you've dabbled in video, you're trying to learn it and everything like that, but you delegated trying to find a partner to help. I'm big on delegate your weaknesses, the thing that you don't like doing. Yeah. Has delegation played a part? Because I think that's something that a lot of small business owners, entrepreneurs struggle with. It's, I need to do it all myself. I need it to be perfect, or whatever their hesitation is to kind of give that up or delegate. Was that a struggle? Do you delegate quite a bit, or what does that look like for you and your business?
No, I hear what you're saying, that it's really hard. Because when this thing is like your baby, you want everything to be a certain way and it's hard to let those things go. So yeah, I definitely hear that. But I've been really lucky with the videographers that I've worked with, and especially the videographer who I've worked with for a long time now. His name's Christopher Hunt. Man, he's so good that the level that he does, I could never even touch it. So I just know to like let him do that, because I don't even really like ever give him edits, because this stuff that he throws my way, I'm like, yep, perfect, done, cut, paste, done. Like, he's so fantastic. So, knowing your weaknesses, and then, trusting that the other person could do it better than you anyways. I think that's where delegation just really has to come in. And especially because I really don't know that much about videography, that I do trust him, and he's helped me a lot with learning the little bit that I do. So yeah, it's hard, but when they're better than you, it's a little bit easier. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you bring up a good point where it's don't have to give them too many edits. Do you allow the people you do videos with to preview and give suggestions, or is it, nah, this is my show, you're going to be on it? And where I'm going with that is, it's, you talk about time and how much time it takes to make these videos. As soon as you get client feedback, it's like, well, no, I don't like that, or okay, let's move it back to and it just adds time.
Yeah.
Do you have to deal with that at all with the people you bring on?
If there's something that's incorrect, if we misspelled something, or if there's something like in the background that's you didn't want in the shot, or there's something like that, absolutely we will do edits. But otherwise, we consider this like a work of art. And this is something that, Chris has an amazing eye, and he's he is an artist when it comes to all this stuff, like the videography and the editing and all that. So if someone came to me with edits that are something for their business that's incorrect, absolutely, yes, done. But if it's something like, well, I just don't particularly like this shot, then
Sweet.
probably no. Like I want to be accommodating as much as possible, but this is something that we fully produce and we look at as artistic work. So it kind of depends, but we obviously want to be accommodating. So if there's something that is really necessary, absolutely we'll change it. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, you've been working with a lot of businesses. I know it's so much fun working with every single one of them. You love every one of them, but what's been, I guess, the most exciting, I guess we'll reframe it. What's been the most exciting find here in Arizona rather than working? What was most fun business to work with? What was the most exciting find that you found in Arizona? Oh
man. Well, that's a really good question. Like you said, I've been really lucky to work with so many cool places, great brands. It's really great, but I might just say 2 places. I like you
can make it 3 if you want to.
Yeah,
the top 3.
One of the very, very, very first businesses that we ever worked with is Lacuna Kava Bar, and they are the only kava bar in all of Arizona. And if you don't know kava, it's a tea made out of a root of a plant, and it's Fijian. It's from Fiji, and it kind of gives you like, it's non-alcoholic. It's nothing like that, but it just kind of gives you like kind of a euphoric feeling. And we got to work with them and interview the owner, Chase, and it's really, really cool. And they just announced that they're opening their second location up in Sedona, so they're doing great. But that's probably the coolest find. Mm-hmm. But one of the coolest places I think recently that I found is, so there's a mobile flower truck in town. She's brand new. She just started since COVID. It's called Annie's Flower Truck. And she drives around and parks at other businesses. And you can walk out and her truck is there. It's in a vintage 1964 VW bus.
That's cool.
And she has all of these beautiful wildflowers and you get to create your own bouquet. And she just like drives around town and pops up at places. So it's like a mobile flower truck.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And is the goal to make a bouquet for either your husband, wife, whatever it may be, someone else? Or is it just get out of the office, get out of the craziness?
I think it's just, the goal is to create something beautiful that you get to hand pick. It's not like going to, the grocery store and they have all those bouquets there already. You get to hand pick it and make it exactly what you want it to be. And they're all wildflowers and they're always different every time she goes out. So it's cool. Like those are the kind of things that I've been finding here in Phoenix that it's like, wow, this is really, really unique and fun. So cool. Those are some of my favorite places.
That's cool. And I mean, you got Phx Finds. Are you looking to expand to Arizona Finds or kind of expand outside the Valley at all?
I would love to. So when I first moved here, I didn't know too much about Arizona in general. So I called it Phx Finds because I always just kind of thought of Phoenix as like this big encompassing area. And I do think we do everything. We do Scottsdale, we do Mesa, we would go anywhere. It's not just the city of Phoenix. But I would love to do more things just in all of Arizona, just in general. So maybe there will be a name change coming in the future. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Who is, or what business or who have you been trying to reach out to that you would just absolutely love to get in contact with and highlight them that you just haven't been able to get in front of them?
Oh man. And maybe by the time this is, edited and out there, maybe this will have already worked out. But there's a new cool thing in town, and it's this new trending thing of outdoor picnics. And these companies will create a picnic for you and bring it to wherever you are, or they'll meet you in a park, or they'll meet you in your backyard, or whatever it is. And they create this beautiful picnic for you. And people are using it for birthday parties, for anniversaries, to propose, all kinds of different things. And I really, really want to feature, and there's a couple different businesses in town. I really want to feature a picnic. I just think that is such a cool, innovative idea. Again, it came out of COVID. Such a great idea for people to be outside, still be together, but be safe and have like a beautiful picnic, a dinner, a meal, whatever it is. So I really want to highlight one of those companies. There's several in the Valley. Oh, okay. There's My AZ Picnic. There's Phoenix Picnics. There's several different companies, but that theme, that concept is something that I really want to feature.
It's funny because I've been getting started. I don't know what brand it is, but someone's been hitting me with ads for that. Because it's funny because you mentioned that, and I'm like, I feel like I've been seeing some with picnics a lot lately.
It's blowing up. That's like the thing right now that everybody is doing, is talking about. And yeah, man, I want to have one of those picnics. It just sounds so cool and so fun. So yeah.
See, again, it's cool to see new business ideas, new business models. Even restaurants shifting from in person to takeout. I mean, again, that's just something I can appreciate. I try and find the positive in everything, and it's been so negative. And I think that's the biggest thing that it's really caused, is just people to think a lot differently. And it's really cool. Yeah.
It's definitely forced people to think outside the box for sure.
And knowing that you're really big on goals, and really visualizing them for you personally, and even the business, I guess, what are some really short-term goals? I know it's easy to talk about 10-year plan and all that, but I mean, what's something actionable, or what are you working on in the next 3 to 6 months that you want to accomplish, both on the personal side and for the business?
Oh, that's great. So we went to cable TV earlier this year. We started producing Phx Finds on Cox Channel 4 here in the Valley.
Cool.
Yeah. So we've been doing that since January. And right now we're doing a monthly episode. So we had January, February, March. I want to start doing it at least once a week. So I want to have an episode once a week, every week, that we produce, that goes to social media, YouTube, and then is aired on Cox Channel 4. So that's a big goal, because it's already just doing one episode per month is already like keeping me crazy busy. So that's the goal. I think we'll get there. Maybe not right away, but that is the big goal for sure.
How did that process work? Were you reaching out to them, or did they reach out to you and go, "Hey, we love what you're doing. We'd love to, I guess, feature you, create a show"? Because I've seen a few other people that had some form of either podcast or show like what you're doing, and come on, whether they're featured for a month or two, but what was that process like?
So yeah, I reached out to them. I was like, "Hey, cool. I want to put this on TV. I've been doing this now on social media and YouTube, and I feel like I've done what I've wanted there, and I want to take that next step to TV." And so I reached out to them, and we made it happen. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
What has it done for the business? I mean, that's a lot of eyes. I mean, that's a lot of eyeballs. Has it translated into more views, more subscribers, more overall awareness for you and the business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and yes. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it's also, I think, given other businesses the impetus to like really recognize that this is something that they can use. Obviously, video, just in general, everybody needs video, man. It's like blowing up, like you said, but also having that exposure on TV, it's just so many more eyes. It's so many more people seeing this. So yeah, it's definitely translated into a lot more views, a lot more awareness, I think. And so yeah, it's been all positive, all really good.
That's cool. And as we kind of wrap up, this has been awesome. I love where the business is going. I especially love the goals and everything. Like I said, I'm just huge on the mental side of things and goal setting. I mean, it makes the world a difference in how you progress. But that being said, most of the audience is small business owners, entrepreneurs. Most of them, I would say, probably know the value of video and everything like that. So for anyone that's on the fence, I want to create something, I don't know how to do it, I guess, what would be the biggest piece of advice that you'd have for them?
Do you mean just in general for like creating their own videos at home? Yeah. Oh man, just do it. Just do it. Like it's so hard to get started for anything, any kind of business, any form of just starting something new. But man, just do it. Just go for it. Especially with video, the best thing is that it's not like you just went out and did something live, and then if you mess it up, oh man, I messed up. You can take as many takes as you want. You redo it 50 times if you want until you get that perfect take. If you're creating stuff at home, if you're doing it on a beautiful computer or a beautiful camera, or you're doing it on your iPhone, it doesn't matter. Just do it. Just get it done and get it out there. And producing the content is more important than making it look perfect. I
love it. I know. So we're kind of wrapping up. I have one more question. We're big on perfect is the enemy of good. And I mean, just having strategy calls, getting things to market and everything. I think a lot of people try to perfect the strategy before they get it out there, whether it be the marketing, doing the video. And, I'm big on just do it. Like, obviously put some time and effort into thinking through it, but get it out there. Cause more times than not, what we see is that, what you originally thought isn't what happens, and you end up pivoting and maneuvering. Are you quick to come with an idea and get it out to market, or do you sit and try and perfect it? It sounds like it's the first, but
it's probably the first. It's probably the latter. I don't think I am a perfectionist, which can be good and can be bad, because there have been times that I've then put stuff out and been like, maybe I should have looked at that a second time because there's a big old typo in that or whatever it is. But man, I love what you just said, that perfection is the enemy. Perfect is the enemy of good. Man, just do it. Get it out. If it's not perfect, you can change it. You can redo it. But man, just getting stuff out there, I think, is more important than if it's perfect and if it's beautiful and if everybody's going to think it's amazing. If you're not doing it, if you're not getting it out, no one's going to see it. It doesn't matter. Just do something, get it out there. Like, yeah, I think that's the most important thing for sure.
You can delete or archive the post if you want. So there you go. And to me, I think it's because if you're going to be doing something, it's going to be a process. Hopefully you're going to be doing it long term. It's not something you're just going to do it for a month. So it's kind of cool to go back. I mean, I look back on some of the first podcasts and the first videos, and it's just like, look how far we've come. Look all the learnings and how we've adjusted and how much better it's gotten. It's fun to look at the progress that you've made. And if you're always trying to be perfect and you get nothing out, there's no progress or process or journey that you can reflect back on and be proud of.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree 100% for sure. Cool. Yeah.
No, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Dustin. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.